In this video, I want to talk about time value of money problems with a twist. There are going to be all types of unique circumstances, different types of cash flows, and you need to be able to value them and evaluate what they mean. And there's no way to prepare for everything that's out there because unique things are invented all the time. So I just want to go over a couple of principles. And let's say that you have an offer. Option A is going to be you get $1,000 every other year from year 3, which is 3 years from today, to year 15. And let's say that option B, I'll do this in a different color. Option B is that you receive $8,000 6 years from today. And I want you to be able to tell me which one of those options is the best. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have to draw some type of timeline. And remember, you need size, timing, and risk of the cash flows. So let's draw out the size and timing of the cash flows. We'll do these in blue first. It's going to be every other year from year 3 to year 15. So this will be 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and that'll be $1,000 for each one of those. And then option B is you get $8,000 in year 6. So $8,000 in year 6. Which one of those do we think is going to be the better one? Well, I need to know the interest rate first of all. So if I don't know the interest rate, size, timing, and risk of the cash flows, right? Here's the size and timing. Well, it's the risk that's embedded in this interest rate, so let's say that's 10%. In order to compare these cash flows, I need to have them at the same point on the timeline. I don't care if that is at time 0 or time 15 or where that point is. So there are different ways to do this. And kind of what I want to do now is just show you a couple of different ways to do it. Well, way number 1, let's say we get the value at time 0 of everything in blue, and then we get the value of time 0 of everything in red. Well, in this case, to get that value at time 0, how do I figure that out? Well, how many payments are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 payments. And those payments are $1,000. The future value, there's nothing big at the end of them, so the future value is equal to 0. And the interest rate is 10%, right? Well, no, because this isn't 7 years. This is 7 2-year periods, so the interest rate I need is not the 1-year interest rate, it's the 2-year interest rate. So how am I going to come up with that? We can deal with that in just a second. When I find the present value, that's a value 1 period before the payments start. Well, the period here is 2 years, so taking the present value of all of these gives me the value at year 1. So that's going to be the value at year 1. And then the value today would be equal to the value at year 1 divided by 1.10 to the first, because that's 1 year and this interest rate is in years. So how do I come up with a 2-year interest rate? Well, the 2-year interest rate, if I took, this is, to recap, this is just the type of thought process you need to have going into this. It's not necessarily going to be a problem you see like this again, but you need to be able to think through things like this. So if I had $100 today, at 10% it becomes $110, and then at year 2 it becomes $121. So that time period, $100 turned into $121, so that's a 21% return. So my 2-year interest rate is not 20%, don't double it because there's compounding. My 2-year interest rate is 21%. So now I found through these steps the value of the cash flows in blue, and for red it's going to be easy. The value today is equal to the value in year 6 divided by 1.10 to the 6 is equal to 8,000 divided by 1.10 to the 6. Now notice I'm not giving you any answers here. I don't want to give you any answers. I just want to give you ways to think about it. Alright, so let me give you a different way to think about it. And to do that, I'm going to move this stuff up just a little bit. I want to keep the timeline in view. And let's look at a different way to go with the values in blue. I could say, what's the value? You know, I got them both the value at year 0, and I can compare them. So let's get the value in year 15. And I can compare the value in year 15. That may be the easier way to do it. There are, so value in year 15, what's that? There are 7 cash flows. The payments are $1,000. The future value, the present value is equal to 0 because there's nothing to start with. The interest rate, again, this is a 2-year interest rate, which is 21%. And the future value gives me the value when the payments stop, which is the value in year 15. That's great. And then for the ones in blue, the value at year 15 is equal to the value at year 6 times 1.1 to the 9th. So this last video really is, there's some problems in the book that you need to work through, that they all have little twists to them, and it's a question of putting the tools together that you have, and can you use those tools that you've learned in the chapter to compare the cash flows and answer the question. The purpose of this video is just to show you some ways to think about different things, but every situation is going to be unique and different. You just have to practice. You just have to work through those problems, and if you truly understand what's going on, you truly understand the tools, you'll be able to handle this. And this is where practice and talking to a coach, an instructor, is going to be hugely important.